614-917-1040.
Welcome in. Music's playing. We're ready to start a new week of Bruce Hooley shows on 98.9 The Answer. Glad to have you with us. Here we go. Well, when I sat here 1 week ago right now, Donald Trump was not yet the 47th president of the United States. He was 54 minutes away from becoming the president of the United States. So we're coming up on 1 week. And I just sat here and I just tried to make a list of all the things that have happened since he became president. The news cycles spin so much faster now than they used to. Pete Hegseth was confirmed as Secretary of Defense on Friday night. I haven't talked to you about it yet. Seems like very, very old news because Trump is a get it done kind of guy. And so I want to throw it open for your evaluation the first week of Donald Trump's presidency, if you'd care to weigh in on what your favorite thing he has done in his first week is. We don't often open up the phones, but I'm more than willing to do it today. They're always open, but I just don't throw out the number very often. But it's 844-TALK-989, 844-TALK-989 if you'd like to tell me what you like best about Donald Trump's first week. It's almost hard to hold on to one, because yesterday we saw a demonstration of what it's like when the American president understands the kind of power he has and doesn't care what people think about him. For a very brief moment yesterday, the time it took Trump to play like maybe 2 holes of the 18 that he played yesterday at Mar-a-Lago, the president of Colombia, a former Marxist terrorist, decided that he would get tough with Donald Trump and he would refuse to allow 2 flights loaded with illegals from Colombia to return to their homeland. Trump responded by threatening a 25% tariff on all Colombian goods to be raised to 50% after a week. He said he would institute a travel ban and visa revocation of all Colombian government officials in the United States. So your diplomats, they're out. He would sanction anyone and everyone in the Colombian government, as well as family members and supporters, which means that if they had any money in the United States, he would freeze it. And he would order enhanced border inspections for anything and everything Colombian, whether goods or people, and he would impose international banking sanctions. Now, obviously, a lot of you probably drink Colombian coffee. And AOC tweeted that this was yet another tariff that the American consumers would be paying for, that Donald Trump doesn't understand, that his policies impose a burden on American citizens. Anna Navarro of The View said, one of the big exports from Colombia is roses. So if you don't get roses for Valentine's Day, it's Donald Trump's fault. Their histrionics were short-lived, as within a half an hour, Gustavo Petro, the president of Colombia, not only changed his mind on receiving illegals from Colombia back into the country, but he said, I'll send my plane to come and get them. You won't even have to use your own aircraft. I'll send my plane to come and get them. This is yet the latest win by Donald Trump in week 1 of his presidency, during which he has, let me see how many of these I can recite off the top of my head. How many things that have happened under Trump's presidency in week 1 that I absolutely love? First and foremost, the death of DEI, the death of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Now, it'll be a slow death because there will be those zealots who will try to embed it elsewhere, at Ohio State, in city governments. Mayor Andrew Ginther today, Columbus Dispatch has a story about Handy Andy saying, Columbus won't be intimidated by President Trump. Will always be a welcoming place. Okay, that's fine. It can be a welcoming place. But if there are illegals here, and once Tom Homan and his targeted enforcement operations finish in New York, Chicago, other cities, we don't know when Columbus will appear on that list, but it will decidedly appear on that list. And then we will see how tough Andy Ginther talks when Immigration and Customs Enforcement shows up here. And we will see whether he is correct or incorrect, our chunky mayor, in saying that Columbus police will not cooperate with deportation efforts. We will see. In other words, if Andy Ginther wants to spend a night or 2 or 10 in lockup, because Tom Homan has said he will prosecute local officials who refuse to cooperate with Donald Trump's deportation efforts. I would love to see, in fact, I would buy popcorn to see Andrew Ginther try to be the first to challenge that. We already have the officials in Boston who said they would never cooperate, going suddenly silent when ICE showed up there on the first day of Trump's presidency, the first full day, last Tuesday, to deport an array of illegals. So, Andy, stick to your guns, big man. I hope we have a cell big enough for you. Donald Trump has dispatched 1,500 troops to the southern border. Marines, there will be more. They are building the wall. They are putting Constantino wire, that barbed, nasty-looking circular wire, down there on the lower portions of areas where we have a border wall, which, you want to get through the border wall. You're skinny enough to squeeze through the slats. You'll be skinnier once the Constantino wire cuts you to ribbons. You won't be able to get underneath it and root underneath it because there'll be a big high border wall on the Mexican side of said border. Today, Donald Trump reinstated and promises to issue back pay to all those in the U.S. military who were discharged because they refused to take the COVID vaccine. Another win. Oh, I almost forgot. Speaking of COVID, the CIA over the weekend, with John Radcliffe, the new head of the CIA, says that COVID indeed came from a lab. It didn't come from a wet market. It didn't come from some other means. It came, shockingly enough, from the Wuhan Institute of Virology, where Anthony Fauci was funding gain-of-function research, even though he says he wasn't. We'll see if Dr. Fauci sticks to that when he's called before the House Oversight Committee now that he has been given a pardon by Joe Biden. He can't lie anymore. And if he does lie, he'll be guilty of perjury and he'll go to jail for that. Oh, J.D. Vance. These are not in order. I'm just reciting them as they come to me. J.D. Vance, the Vice President of the United States, spoke on Friday at the March for Life. The Vice President of the United States coming out, taking a bold stand against abortion. J.D. Vance said, we need more babies in our country. I love that too. Drill, baby, drill. How could I forget that? We're getting a lot of pushback from the liberals. Oh, I'll play you audio. J.D. Vance owning Margaret Brennan of CBS on prices. She's very upset now. All of a sudden, less than a week into Trump's presidency, because yesterday was less than a week into Trump's presidency, Margaret Brennan accosted J.D. Vance on, hey, the price of bacon hasn't come down yet. The price of eggs has not come down yet. Oh, really? In a week, it hasn't come down yet? Now you're all upset about that, Marge Brennan? You weren't upset when it escalated for years under Joe Biden. Something tells me that the price of eggs, the price of bacon really doesn't touch Marge Brennan, whose entire life is a collection of luxury beliefs, things that she thinks are foundational to the United States of America, things that make your life harder and my life harder and the lives of every American's harder. But she has luxury beliefs, which means the things that she advocates for don't touch her, they just touch us. One other thing Donald Trump has done in the past week. He has designated the Houthis as terrorists. Wow, imagine that. People who are lobbing bombs at our ships in the Red Sea. We call them terrorists. Joe Biden didn't call them terrorists. Joe Biden removed the terrorist label from the Houthis. Oh, Remain in Mexico is back. I'll play you an ABC News report later today where I guess we're supposed to feel sorry for people who are trying to get into our country illegally. And now they get to the southern border and they have nowhere to go because they have to remain in Mexico. Maybe stay home. Maybe do a little research. Maybe call up the CBP One app before you get to the border to find out it doesn't work anymore. Oh, which reminds me, Trump canceled the CBP One app. No more flights into the United States for illegals at the expense of the American taxpayer. Paris Climate Accords, Bye-bye. We're not in that anymore. And, of course, Donald Trump scolded the World Economic Forum and called out conservative banks for deplatforming, and not conservative banks, called out banks for deplatforming conservatives. Not to mention what are we at now? Like 9, 10, 11? Are we double figures on Trump press conferences yet? He speaks everywhere. North Carolina, LA, by the way, embarrassed Karen Bass, the mayor of LA on Saturday. I don't want to undervalue that. And he had Gavin Newsom standing at the bottom of the ramp when Trump flew into LA. Gavin Newsom looking like a guy who got stood up at his own wedding, waiting for Trump to come down the stairs. I mean, it's just glorious. We're not even a week into it yet. No, I'm not tired of winning. More winning. Let's have more winning. Donald Trump's first week in the White House has gone fabulously. We have so many more to go.
This afternoon, mostly sunny, rather breezy. High today at 36. Windy tonight, increasing cloudiness and low at 29. Clouds and breezy for tomorrow, the high at 39. Partly cloudy for tomorrow evening with the low 32. And then mostly cloudy and breezy on Wednesday, high Wednesday at 39. Sunshine for most of the day on Thursday, the high 45. Periods of rain Friday, high 47. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM, The Answer.
Hi, it's Bruce Hooley, and here's a term we've all heard before, right? Misinformation. Well, misinformation is not exactly what you think it is, but it is when it comes to people who tell you
clearly they're trying to deter people from coming, and they're trying to send notice to people here, to that this could be happening to them. I think they campaigned on this, and one of the things that to me has been a real hallmark when I listen to some of these immigration announcements lately is that it's like they're still in the campaign.
Consultation to see if it'll work for you. 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. Walk in pain, walk out with relief. Rehab, what rehab? Go to qckinetics.com or call 380-208-4544.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the relief hotline 525-7718, 800-525-7718.
We are in commercial. Bear with us here while we get these played, and then we'll be back with more of the show.
If you run or manage a local business today, you're challenged like never before. We get it, and we want to help. We're Salem Surround. We're a full-service marketing agency that'll help you increase your customer base by designing incredibly effective plans to reach your consumers day, night, and everywhere they might be.
If you're a local business and want to see what Salem Surround can do for you, Google Salem Surround Columbus. Google Salem Surround Columbus today.
Who are the people that serve part-time in the Ohio Army National Guard? We are your neighbors and friends. We are your sons and daughters. Our service is providing us valuable job skills, and it pays up to 100% of our tuition. We're proud to serve our state. We are your Ohio Army National Guard. Learn more about part-time service with the Ohio Army National Guard at nationalguard.com/OH. Sponsored by the Ohio Army National Guard, aired by the Ohio Association of Broadcasters and this station.
In the new heart-pounding military thriller, Valiant One, a routine mission spirals into a fight for survival.
Mayday, mayday, mayday. We have multiple deaths, multiple. We need a medevac right now.
They can't get us. We're in North Korea. With no rescue coming, and little hope to make it back alive. Only courage can bring them home. Don't miss Valiant One, starring Chase Stokes and Lana Condor. Rated R. Opens Friday.
Resist the Drift Marriage Conference coming Valentine's Day weekend to Genoa Church in Westerville. A great way for you to show your spouse that you care about your marriage. Reinvigorating it, because there is a tendency, the longer you are married, for the husband and the wife to become roommates more so than soulmates, which of course they were, on the day they got married. Your conference leaders will be Dr. Greg and Aaron Smalley. They will share with you Bible-based concepts and tools that will help you reconnect and strengthen your marriage. Now, you can get tickets at 9890answer.com to the Resist the Drift Marriage Conference, February 14th and 15th at Genoa Church in Westerville. The general admission ticket gets you 4 sessions and a conference workbook. I'd upgrade, if I were you, to the premium experience ticket, because you get the workbook and the conference, but you also get a private Q&A session with the speakers, a continental breakfast, and a gift. Book your tickets today, February 14th and 15th at Genoa Church in Westerville at 9890answer.com. Well, Tom Homan and the immigration and customs enforcement folks are now focusing on the city of Chicago, which is overrun with illegal immigrants because, of course, that's one of the cities that Greg Abbott bust illegals to. And Brandon Johnson, the mayor of the city of Chicago, has claimed that Chicago will not cooperate, and that state of Illinois, Governor J.B. Pritzker, says the state of Illinois will not cooperate either, although Pritzker tried to sound a little bit more of a conciliatory tone on one of the Sunday news shows.
When we're talking about violent criminals who've been convicted and who are undocumented, we don't want them in our state. We want them out of the country. We hope they do get deported. And if that's who they're picking up, we're all for it. They show up with a warrant, and we're going to hand over people who are in our prisons or in our jails who fit that description. Now, what they're also doing, though, and it's quite disturbing, is they're going after people who are law-abiding, who are holding down jobs, who have families here, who may have been here for a decade or 2 decades, and they're often our neighbors and our friends. And why are we going after them? These are not people who are causing problems in our country, and what we need is a path to citizenship for them. We need to secure our border. We need to get rid of the violent criminals, but we also need to protect people, at least the residents of Illinois and all across the nation, who are just doing what we hope that immigrants will do.
Wrong. Why are they going after them? I hate to be Captain Obvious. The answer is because they're here illegally. That is why they're going after them. If in fact they are indeed going after them, could it be that this is merely a show of force in some neighborhoods? There's a long, tear-provoking story today on MSNBC about how terrified illegals are in certain areas of Chicago, which are said to be overrun with illegal immigrants, but they have jobs and they don't have criminal records, and some of them have been here for 2 decades. Now, we heard prior to Trump taking the White House, when Tom Homan talked about immigration and others talked about immigration, he talked about self-deportations. Self-deportations, a lot of people thought, why would that happen? They've been here illegally for a long time. They're not going to self-deport. Well, when you see the way illegals talk about how terrified they are when federal agents show up in their neighborhoods, they know that they have been able to game the system for a long, long time. And they know that those days may be over, they may not be over. And so maybe they would rather exit the country on their own terms than risk being forcibly removed from the country and leaving behind everything that they have managed to put together for themselves here. Because there are avenues to become legal immigrants of the United States of America. It's not like we don't take immigrants into the United States of America. We do. We just don't want illegal immigrants because a lot of times we don't know who they are and we don't know what they've done, and we don't know what their intentions are. And this is a point that J.D. Vance tried to make with Margaret Brennan of CBS when he sat down with her on Sunday. Now, there were a lot of people who were upset with J.D. Vance for sitting down with Margaret Brennan because she and Nora O'Donnell hosted one of the presidential hosted the only vice presidential debate between J.D. Vance and Tim Walz. And Vance was, well, I was going to say he was outnumbered that night, 3-on-1, but Walz was really only kind of half an opponent. So he was really outnumbered kind of 2.5-to-1. Brennan and Nora O'Donnell did a much better job sticking up for Democratic talking points than Tim Walz did, who famously said, I can be a knucklehead. Yeah, you sure can. By the way, boy, he sure vanished from the national stage fast, didn't he? So a lot of people were upset. J.D. Vance, what are you sitting down with her for? She came after you. She cut your mic. And I think J.D. Vance had a method to his madness. And his method was, I'll just go on and I'll just embarrass her. So here he is doing that to CBS as well. That's a little bit of a long cut. Let me play another. I got an array of them. There was one really pithy cut from J.D. Vance where, here it is. Margaret Brennan is making the case that, hey, you know, these immigrants have been vetted. Particularly in this case, she's talking about Afghan immigrants. They're properly vetted. And J.D. Vance is like, no, they're really not. We had a terrorist plot here recently from somebody who was, quote unquote, properly vetted by the Biden administration. And she's doggedly sticking to her guns. No, they were properly vetted, J.D. Vance. What a terrible person you are. Here's that exchange.
And in fact, we know that there are cases of people who allegedly were properly vetted and then were literally planning terrorist attacks on our country. That happened during the campaign, if you may remember. So clearly not all of these foreign nationals
but there are
have been properly
30,000
vetted.
people in the pipeline, Afghan refugees.
But my primary
Do you stand by
concern
it?
as the vice president, Margaret, is to look after the American people. And now that
So
we
no.
know that we have vetting problems with a lot of these refugee programs, we absolutely cannot unleash thousands of unvetted people into our country.
These people
it's
are
not
vetted.
good.
These people are vetted.
Just like the guy who planned a terrorist attack in Oklahoma a few months ago, he was allegedly properly vetted. And many people in the media and the Democratic Party said that he was properly vetted. Clearly he
Yeah.
wasn't. I don't want my children to share a neighborhood with people who are not properly vetted. And because I don't want it for my kids, I'm not going to force any other American citizens' kids to do that either.
No, and that was a very particular case. It wasn't clear if he was radicalized when he got here or while he was living here.
I don't really
But
care, Margaret. I don't want that person in my country. And I think most Americans agree with me.
Most Americans do agree with him. And isn't it sweet? Isn't it so sweet now that Margaret Brennan really cares about presumably the Afghans who helped us when we were over there fighting for 20 years. Now she cares about them getting American citizenship. She didn't seem to care when Joe Biden beat it out of Kabul with 13 American servicemen blown to smithereens by a bomber at Abbey Gate. She didn't seem to care when former Navy SEALs and former Army Rangers like Chad Robichaux had to organize on their own to go back and rescue, set up their own operations to get out as many as 10 to 12,000 Afghans who were in fear of their life with the 6th century barbarians Taliban back in charge. She didn't care anything then because that would have reflected poor on Joe Biden. But now, they've been vetted. They've been vetted. Yeah, this is the argument on Laken Riley. Well, most immigrants don't kill people. Yeah, but Laken Riley's dead because of an immigrant. Well, but most don't kill people.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason. There is a new sheriff in town at the Pentagon. This is day one on the job for Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, who notes that the military is helping to secure the southern border under orders from President Trump. The White House says it's evidence that America is respected again around the globe, a reference to Colombia's agreement to take back its citizens who entered the U.S. illegally. Some top Trump administration officials, border czar Tom Homan among them, have paid a visit to the sanctuary city of Chicago, getting an up-close look at the long-awaited enforcement of federal immigration law. Israel says Hamas has told it that 8 of the 33 hostages to be freed under phase 1 of the Gaza ceasefire deal are dead. The remaining 25 captives said to be alive. On Wall Street, the Dow down 76 points. More details, srnnews.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-885-3333. That's 800-885-3333. 800-885-NEWS.
Opinion. Here, 98.9 FM, The Answer, anywhere you go. With The Answer's mobile app at 989theanswer.com. Also on your smart speakers, TuneIn, or iHeart.
Hi, my name is Justin Petrichor. I'm Julian Petrichor. We run Alpha Waste Service. We offer front-load dumpsters as well as roll-off dumpsters for local residents and businesses. Our prices are set at flat fixed rates. The price we give is the price you'll pay.
We don't force our customers into contracts unless they want one. We keep our customers by providing quality service at affordable prices.
If you need a front-load or roll-off dumpster, please visit alphawasteservice.com.
Again, that's alphawasteservice.com.
Hi, it's Bruce Hooley, and I don't know about you, but I like doing business with really good people. One of the things that I'm fortunate about in radio is that I've been able to select who I do business with and on whose behalf I endorse products. That's why I'm happy to endorse MyPillow, because the story of MyPillow is a testament to faith and transformation. Mike Lindell once battled addiction. He found a new path when he embraced and began following Jesus Christ in his life. And in gratitude, Mike is excited to share an exclusive offer. Right now, the standard MyPillow available for just $14.88. That savings is too good to pass up. You're limited to 10, but Mike believes God gave him the idea for MyPillow in a dream, and he's designed it with your comfort in mind. You can take home a 4-piece kitchen towel set for $25. Enjoy a new mattress topper starting at just $99.99, or you can pick up the luxurious MyPillow bedsheet starting at $49.98. Visit MyPillow.com and use my promo code Bruce. That's MyPillow.com. Promo code Bruce, a good guy, a great company with awesome products and fantastic prices. MyPillow.com, promo code Bruce.
Resist the Drift Marriage Conference is coming to Genoa Church on February 14th and 15th. Help you and your spouse feel more like soulmates again. Join Focus on the Family and 98.9 FM The Answer by registering now at drift.com.
If you are looking to remodel your flooring in your home in the new year, many of you were, but hey, it's busy at the holidays. You got people coming over and you don't want to move the Christmas tree to make room for the new flooring. I get it. But now, hey, the decorations are put away and you're settling back into life in the wintertime. And what better way to make your home more inviting than with beautiful new flooring? I can help you with that. Go to brucehooley.com, click on flooring, carpet, luxury vinyl plank flooring, multi-purpose, won't scratch, waterproof, almost indestructible. I can help you with any name brand you find at any big box store. I can get it for you for less and we can install it faster. I can explain how. Just go to brucehooley.com, click on flooring, leave your information, tell me a little bit about your project. I would love to come out to your house, meet you. We'll have a conversation, may even involve flooring. Eventually, I always talk about the show and like-minded listenership and things like that before we get into the flooring conversation. So, hey, let's connect. brucehooley.com, flooring. Oh, Andy Ginther talking tough. The 3-term mayor of Columbus tells the local newspaper that his administration will not make any changes in light of the deluge of executive orders Donald Trump has issued in his first week in office. And here is the quote from the brave mayor. "We elect presidents We do not elect kings, and we all need to remember that. We've been through this before, and I'm just asking everybody to stay focused on safety, security, and each other. A line from a John Wayne Western comes to mind. The line starts, that's bold talk from if you know the rest of it, you'll get the joke. Ginther said no changes will be made to the Columbus Office of Diversity and Inclusion. To which I say, wanna bet? One of the things Donald Trump did in week 1 was to finally, mercifully, get behind the idea that affirmative action, diversity, equity, and inclusion, what other woke names you want to apply to it, is in fact reverse racism. And he said, get used to meritocracy. Meritocracy. We're going to pick the best. American exceptionalism. We are going to pick the best applicants, regardless of their ethnicity, regardless of their sexual preference, regardless of anything other than their ability. And anyone who would tell you that that is racist is advocating for preferences given on the basis of immutable characteristics, which is the very definition of racism. So, Andy, I invite you to just double down on your stupid diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives here in Columbus, because eventually it's going to catch the attention of the president, and eventually he's going to focus his attention on you, just like he did Colombia President Gustavo Petro over the weekend. And Petro took less than an hour to cave when he was faced with tariffs and deportation of his diplomats and other economic sanctions. And my guess is, as much as you like to spend money here, Andy, including on your ridiculous $100 million bike path, you can't live in Columbus, Ohio without federal aid. And so you can talk tough all you want to, but your words are as empty as your head. Another quote from Ginther. I know these are chaotic times, scary times for some in our community. Yeah, you. But the chaos of Washington need not impact the quality of life and the culture of this community. We're in control of that. We have the power, and we should not give it away. He sounds almost Kamala Harris-esque in that, did he not? Oh, by the way, Andy Ginther thanked Franklin County Commissioner Kevin Boyce for walking out on his promised speech to the VA on Martin Luther King Day 2 hours before it was supposed to happen. Because Kevin Boyce is standing up for free speech, because after Donald Trump issued the executive order against DEI, Kevin Boyce wanted to get up and he wanted to turn his speech to the VA into a woke screed about diversity, equity, and inclusion. And the VA people were like, no, this would be a bad look for us as the Veterans Administration to have our guest speaker denigrate our commander-in-chief and an executive order that he just issued. Could you just talk about maybe like the reason we invited you here, which would be your father who served two tours in the Marines in Vietnam, or your brother who served in the Army? No, you have to make it all about you. So Ginther's final comment. This is what I know. Can't wait. How about you? I was mayor before when Donald Trump was president, and I believe that there's a lot of rhetoric and language out of D.C. that is very concerning and alarming to the people of Columbus. I don't think so. Anyway, I will remind them that we've been here before and we got through it. But I think it's critically important that we continue to focus on our values about being a welcoming and safe community for all. Boy, oh boy, this guy talks and nothing meaningful comes out. Nothing. This is the old, tired stiff arm, the feckless, impotent stiff arm of the left, that we can't deport illegals because diversity is our strength, or they're the backbone of our economy. Margaret Brennan tried this with J.D. Vance on Sunday. It didn't go well for her.
Well, this is a country founded by immigrants.
Well, this is a country
This is a
founded
unique
by
country.
This is a very unique country, and it was founded by some immigrants and some settlers. But just because we were founded by immigrants doesn't mean that 240 years later that we have to have the dumbest immigration policy in the world.
100%. We don't have to have the dumbest immigration policy going. And cities where they have it are cities that are deteriorating and crime is out of control. And oh, by the way, who does this hurt the most? It doesn't hurt Andrew Ginther. It doesn't hurt Shannon Hardin, your council president. It doesn't hurt Zach Klein, your law director. It doesn't hurt any of your elected Democrats, which is to say every elected official in the city of Columbus. It doesn't hurt Margaret Brennan. It doesn't hurt Anna Navarro. It doesn't hurt AOC. It doesn't hurt Joy Behar. It hurts people who live in moderate to low income communities. In other words, it hurts the people that the Democrats are always saying they care about, but the people that they never seem to get around to doing anything for. A woman named Kata Truss is a Chicago resident, and she reflected on this very phenomenon in an interview with Fox News over the weekend.
I'm sure that you'll hear people say that there are people who are opposed to it, but for the majority of the citizens here in Chicago, we're not opposed to it. Let me tell you something. You know, our mayor is intent on protecting people who come from other places. We need our mayor to be intent on protecting the people who were born here, the people who were raised here, the people who have stakes. And not that those people don't have stakes in these communities, but for those of us who have been fighting tirelessly to bring about change in our communities and have been told time after time again that there's no money, and to watch billions being spent on people who are not from here is a problem for most of Chicago. And it must be a problem for most of the country, because you can tell that in the way that people voted.
Chicago spent $629 million on refugee aid over the past 2 years. They have at least 50,000 illegal immigrants. 50,000 in a city. Springfield, Ohio, overrun 15,000 illegals from Haiti. Oh, they're not illegal. They came here on the CBP One app. Yeah, that's unconstitutional. And Trump got rid of that on day one. Tren de Aragua, a gang from Venezuela, has a presence in over 20 U.S. cities. And you would think this would concern, you would think this would concern the politicians who are elected to represent people who are genuinely terrified of what a Venezuelan gang might do. You've seen the video. I've seen the video of these gangs breaking down doors in apartment buildings in Aurora, Colorado. You would think the guy who represents that area, Jason Crow, a Democrat, of course, would be particularly concerned. But no. He's concerned about other things.
Aurora, Colorado is in your district. That is a location that President and candidate Trump talked quite a lot about, specifically as an example of immigration run amok. He talks about this migrant Venezuelan gang, TVA, taking over parts of your city, something local officials have pushed back on, certainly. They were designated as a terrorist group by President Trump, or he started the process to designate them. What does that do for the people of Aurora?
Well, you know, I pushed back pretty fiercely on Donald Trump's lies because this is my hometown.
It's not a lie.
I live there, and I can tell you that Aurora, Colorado is a place of great pride and great strength. We are a community of immigrants and refugees. Nearly 20% of my constituents were born outside of the United States. These are our business owners. These are our friends. They go to school with my children. They work in our community. They grow businesses in our community.
Straw man argument. Some of them are good. They have businesses. Nobody's saying they're not. The bad ones, the ones who are breaking down doors, the ones who are beating people up, the ones who are demanding protection money, those are the problems.
Today, mostly sunny, rather breezy. High today at 36. Windy tonight, increasing cloudiness and low at 29. Clouds and breezy for tomorrow, the high at 39. Partly cloudy for tomorrow evening with the low 32. And then mostly cloudy and breezy on Wednesday, high Wednesday at 39. Sunshine for most of the day on Thursday, the high 45. Periods of rain Friday, high 47. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM, The Answer.
These are our business owners. These are our friends. They go to school with my children. They work in our community. They grow businesses in our community. And the rhetoric of Donald Trump, both on the campaign trail and now, demonizing these folks and telling gross lies and exaggerations is not only impugns the reputation of a strong and vibrant community, but it makes those folks
together. I want to tell you about Equity Protect because they're the only company that prevents deed and home title theft. You've heard the story about criminals stealing people's hard-earned equity or even selling their homes without them even knowing about it. There are companies that do monitor your title, and then they alert you after something terrible has happened. Well, Equity Protect is different. They scan, monitor, alert, and most importantly, they'll stop any attempts to steal your home equity and ownership. And they're on the case 24/7. Get your free risk assessment by going to equityprotect.com. equityprotect.com. And for a limited time, you'll get 30% off by using the discount code Mike30. That's Mike30. Want to make a phone call? Here's their number, 888-213-2959. Call Equity Protect now, 888-213-2959, or visit equityprotect.com/Gallagher. Don't forget to use the discount code Mike30.
I have a lifetime of experience as a financial planner, a lawyer,
A homemaker.
An educator.
a mechanic, a nurse.
You know what I am now? I'm a Senior Corps RSVP volunteer. I build homes and young minds. I build parks and playgrounds.
and support our nation's veterans.
I build gardens and help families with their finances.
I build healthy futures.
And organize disaster relief. I build teams and friendships.
And families.
I build lives and communities.
And myself. I'm a builder and I lead by experience. How about you?
Join Senior Corps RSVP.
Lead by experience.
At seniorcorps.gov.
Imagine being denied an apartment because of your religion, or your race, or because you have children, or a disability.
It's so wrong.
Yes, but who has the power to stop this?
You do. Each of us has the power. The law is on your side. It's illegal for landlords to discriminate because of race, color, religion, sex, national origin, disability, or familial status. If you suspect that you have experienced housing discrimination, file a complaint with HUD immediately so we can investigate it. Fair housing is your right.
Use it.
To learn more, visit hud.gov/fairhousing. That's hud.gov/fairhousing. Or call 1-800-669-9777. 1-800-669-9777. A public service message from HUD in partnership with the National Fair Housing Alliance.
Discount Shopping Club could be a place where you find the perfect solution to a problem that arose and has you flummoxed. For instance, if you lost the capacity to heat your home with a furnace that has gone out at the worst possible time, it was really cold last week, not as cold this week, but still not cold enough to go without a furnace, then you should go to 99theanswer.com to the Discount Shopping Club and take advantage of Temperature Pro Columbus's major rockin' deal on 2 different furnaces. Whether your home is 1,200 to 1,500 square feet or 1,500 to 2,000 square feet, Temperature Pro has a furnace in the Discount Shopping Club for you. Now, one of them is already gone, and Temperature Pro thankfully provided another, but I wouldn't wait any longer if you are struggling to heat your home. Temperature Pro and the Discount Shopping Club may provide the answer. Other deals there as well. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars. In fact, what the Discount Shopping Club will do is save you half on every item that you purchase. So check it out at 989theanswer.com. It's really odd to me that people continue to reward failure. In politics, there are, as you well know, here in Columbus, Ohio, all Democrats serving in public office. Every single city office, every single city council position, every single commissionership is occupied by a Democrat. If you've lived here, 30 years, is the city better now than it was before? I mean, it's bigger. It's bigger. Is it better? Do you feel safe going downtown as you used to? You feel safe going to the short north? Would you take a walk at night from the Ohio Theater to a restaurant and not be looking over your shoulder, not head on a swivel? I don't even go downtown anymore because I don't want to become a statistic. In fact, I'm nervous when I'm driving through downtown on the interstate because of how many shootings have we had on freeways in downtown Columbus? 4, 5 in the past year. Murder totals under Andrew Ginther are through the roof. And this is the same in most major cities, and yet most major cities are run by Democrats. Do we not connect that the policies of Democrats and the problems of major cities aren't linked? I mean, I played that cut for you from the Colorado representative to the House talking about, all these immigrants that they are scaring with their deportation threats. These are people who run businesses, and these are people who, yes, some of them, not all of them. And why don't they move to become citizens if they're here and America has fulfilled their dreams? Well, you don't have to stay an illegal. But of course, the federal bureaucracy is a labyrinth of unending red tape. And so maybe it's not the immigrants' fault. But this kind of logic, this is Jason Crow, who represents the area in which Aurora, Colorado, where you've seen Tren de Aragua. Colorado is one of 16 states where Tren de Aragua has a presence. Listen to his justification. Not like, hey, we hope. I mean, if you oppose the deportations of illegals who are business owners, say that. Can you say that? Say, you know what? There are a lot of people here who may not have their papers, they may not be documented, but they're foundational members of our community. And I hope that we can ferret out the bad ones, and I hope we can keep the good ones. Because that's what Tom Homan has promised to do. Going to go after the worst first, right? But here's the deal. If you are harboring someone, letting them live in your place, and they are illegal and they are up to no good, then I have no sympathy for you, okay? But at least could we have a Democrat say, maybe we ought to take a close look at these people before we deport. No, they're not even going that. It's like, no, you can't deport any of them because there might be some who are okay. I can't identify with this man's logic. Maybe you can. Here he is again, making his case for no deportations. What lies? Always with the pie in the sky fix. We need the comprehensive immigration reform. But we don't need to get the bad people out. Okay, so would you like to know who those bastions of the community were that they rounded up in Aurora, Colorado over the weekend? They got 50 members of Tren de Aragua. They also found on them, besides drugs, weapons, and cash, they found a drug known as pink cocaine at a black market club. It's one of the illicit drugs Tren de Aragua has trafficked throughout the United States, including in New York City. So this guy's not rejoicing that they got illegal drugs out of his community, which who do you think they're selling those drugs to? They're trying to get kids hooked as early as they can. But he's like, there's a guy, a shopkeeper down the way. He's running a bodega, and he's a good guy. So we can't go after any of them because he might get caught up in it. I hope Trump doesn't lose his nerve on this. There'll be pictures, all crying babies and crying moms and dads. And No. This is favored by the American people. Deport all illegals, a more than 55% position. And I love the fact that Trump is putting teeth into this early. A show of force, just like he did with Colombia. Oh, you don't want to take back your criminals? You don't want to take back your nutcases who are here exacting violence and vengeance on the United States of America and building illicit businesses through drugs and human trafficking and stuff like that? Okay, fine. Okay, fine. We'll deport all your diplomats. We'll freeze all your bank assets. We'll impose a 25% and a 50% tariff if you don't relent after a week. And then the president's like, well, okay. How about if I send my plane to get them? You don't even have to, honestly, Mr. President, you don't even have to fly them down here. I'll send my plane to come and get them. Tom Homan on the use of 1,500 troops at the southern border. American military, a show of force. This is what works.
We got military on the border, not only helping us with the departure flights on military planes, but they're helping to build infrastructure. They're putting up Constantino where they're down there to create a secure border and lock that border down. And DOD's helped administrations before, but not at this level. So it's a force multiplier, and it's sending a strong signal to the world. Our border's closed.
That's what it's about. Sending the message. Oh, but CNN is very upset about this. Here's an analysis of Trump's border efforts by a guy named Stephen Collison. Headline: after forcing Colombia to back down, White House claims America is respected again. Well, if they back down, wouldn't that indicate that America is respected at least by Colombia? I would think so. Here's the lead. Donald Trump claimed an early victory for a coercive foreign policy based on tariffs and hard power on Sunday, after announcing Colombia had backed down in a dispute over migrant repatriation flights. So he claimed a victory when the president of Colombia said, yeah, I'll send my own plane to get him. An hour ago, no, I wouldn't take him, but now I'll send my own plane. It's not a victory. Trump's just claiming it's a victory. Stephen Collison continues. The U.S. president jumped at the chance to show his supporters how tough he can be and to demonstrate to other countries in Latin America the price of resisting migrant repatriations. Yeah, and? Isn't that his job? Why is that offensive to you, Stephen Collison? Is he supposed to be warm, cuddly, fuzzy? Is he supposed to go back on everything he promised the people who voted for him that he would do? Then he says Colombia's foreign minister confirmed U.S. deportation flights had resumed, winning. He says this is likely to embolden administration officials who see tariff threats not simply as a traditional device in trade disputes, but as a tool to intimidate other nations, including longtime U.S. allies across a broader set of issues. Colombia? A long-standing U.S. ally? Did I miss that? Were they fighting beside us in World War II?
The following is a paid advertisement by Family Vacation Getaways with the purpose of soliciting sales of vacation ownership. For complete details, please visit fbgradio.com. If you want a 100% complimentary stay at a luxury resort in Cancun, airfare not included, then Family Vacation Getaways is your...
Ladies and gentlemen, that's hour number one of the show. Appreciate you sticking with us. Got the laptop fixed, and we're back, and we'll be doing this every first hour. I can't get rid of this cough, man. Does anybody else have the lingering COVID cough? Got COVID at Christmas. I'm still coughing. Kind of a drag. But yeah, good to be back with you. New battery, new charger for the laptops, working great. So we'll see you again tomorrow. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. What's up tonight? Oh, we got Ohio State basketball tonight at Iowa. Probably won't go well for the fellas, but we'll see. Take care. Have a good one.